just see one backup take over in this game. Congratulations again to Drew Lock on a really phenomenal night. And I can't get over that interview with Lisa Salters. I loved it so much. Like, I felt like I was emotional watching it. I'm not even like...
No, it was good.
You know, I try to be like as unbiased as possible. Just being a former reporter, it's been weird to transition back into being a fan. And I was still watching this like, oh my God. It was a great interview. But he was not the only backup in this one. And not even that bump. Not even the only backup to have a phenomenal day. Let's head to the secondary where we saw just one starter, essentially. There was a battle at corner, and then there was an injury at corner, and then there was an injury at safety. And so there's three different names that we're looking at right now, primarily focusing on two of those. Let's start with safety. Jamal Adams couldn't play in this one, inactive for this game. They wanted to make sure he could rest up and try to come back from injury. He's been dealing with, I think, a hip injury, but also obviously lingering issues with that quad surgery. And he mentioned to begin the season, I'm not going to be 100%. Like, it's just not, it's going to take him a while to get back. Julian Love came out looking absolutely phenomenal. 2 interceptions in this game bump, including one that sealed the win for the Seahawks. It was an unbelievable day. We're going to get to those highlights and some of the big plays from the game, but what'd you make of Julian's day? And importantly, what does it mean for Jamal, who Pete did say is coming back next week?
Yeah, one, Julian took advantage of an opportunity. And I tweeted after the game, like, decisions. We'll see what the Hawks do, essentially, but let's enjoy this win. And I think some people assume the quarterback position. I didn't even respond to people who thought I was talking about the quarterback. I'm like, nah, I'm talking about defensively because we saw some bodies out there, right? Saw more Julian Love. We saw some Kobe Bryant. Artie Burns had some plays out there. Michael Jackson had some plays. But we're really focusing on the safety position just because we look at Jamal and he hasn't been 100%. So I think that is essentially why Julian Love was brought over here, because you looked at the safety position before the season started. And you say, all right, well, Kobe Bryant can play that position. You got Quandre as well. Let's bring over Julian Love, a guy who's played nickel, corner, and the safety spot, and make sure we're good to go. So naturally, when you see Julian Love play, and he has 2 interceptions, 1 to seal the game, he had an interception last week against the 49ers and a forced fumble. You're creating a healthy competition. This is healthy. It's good for Jamal to see Julian making plays because you know what that does? It might make him tap into something else mentally. It might make him step his game up. Pete Carroll's culture is all about competition. So I look at this and I go, okay, how healthy is Jamal? Is he healthy enough to sit down a guy who's caused 4 turnovers in the last 2 weeks? A guy who is great in coverage, has a knack for going to get the football, and can also tackle. Now, we've seen Julian Love miss tackles. We've seen everybody on this defense miss tackles because that's the name of the game. So my question is, how much time does Jamal get? How much time does Julian get? How do you reward Julian Love's performance the last couple weeks without disrespecting Jamal Adams? Now, people are going to say Jamal has been playing well. He doesn't deserve it. Again, we're not with these guys every single day in prep or whatnot. And Jamal has been banged up. You can tell he's not the same guy. If I'm the Seahawks, I'm just going to sprinkle in more Julian Love. Put Jamal in Jamal situations. You know what we saw last night? We saw DT not on the field a lot in passing situations, in running situations. Draymond Jones pushed outside to that edge rusher. Why? Because they're going to put DT in positions to where they feel like he can be the most successful. So what I'm saying is Julian Love is applying pressure to the Seahawks and Jamal. Healthy pressure. This is what makes teams better. If all you had was Jamal and he's not playing like himself and you have no other options, you're just throwing your hands up in the air. You're going to keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, and that's insanity. This is good. This ain't a bad thing. So we'll see what decisions they do make and how they go forward, but I feel like Julian Love definitely earned himself some more playing time.
The only thing Pete had to say about that this morning, again, I'm assuming he'll be speaking with reporters, if not later today, then on Wednesday as they get ready for a Sunday game. He said, obviously, you could see we missed Jamal. We can't wait to get him back this week. Let's go on to the corner spot. This one was interesting. So on the one hand, you had Artie Burns out there who was playing for an injured Witherspoon. Spoon is still your starter. He's been one of your best defensive players, if not maybe your best defensive player this year. He packs a punch. He's not going anywhere. Fine. That was just an injury. But there was a competition. Pete said they had a competition at corner during the week. This is what he said. Mike Jackson had played so well the week before, it just felt it was warranted to let the guys compete, meaning Mike and Rick Woolen. They were kind of keeping score throughout the week, and that's how the rotation turned out.
I can't say what I want to say about that situation.
Okay.
I can't.
I won't put you in a tough spot.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Okay.
There are some other factors going on there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that it's easy to look at a lot of this and go, bench this guy, bench that guy, move that guy around. I'm going to lean on what you said earlier, and that I think what the Seahawks are realizing they might have the capability to do is to once again rotate guys a little more than they have been.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. That is a good thing. Now, you would love to have Reek play at his Pro Bowl status like he did last year and hold his side down and make all these interceptions. But he's just not having that type of year, right? It started off tough for him. His knee was all jacked up. He gets a late start. Other guys get opportunities. You see more Trey Brown. He starts making some plays. The absence of Devin Witherspoon allowed Mike Jackson to remind people, like, look, I was a starter last year too. I can get it done. Now, when it's all said and done, you got to be able to lean on something, right? These are going to be our guys in these situations. And I think since these guys are getting more playing time, you can put them in advantageous situations because you don't know what you got if these guys are on the sidelines, right? You think you know what you have during practice. You talk to them, you know what their mind is like. But when stuff gets real, you see how guys start to respond and how they play. So what I've been able to see, like I said, Mike Jackson reminded us who he is. Julian Love says, look, I can still make some plays. Kobe Bryant jumped in there a little bit. Artie Burns said, don't forget about me, the old guy. And he ain't even that old. He's 28 years old. And so it's healthy competition, which I like. And the more options you have, the better for a football team. You would love to have a Hall of Fame Pro Bowl corners and safeties holding it down that you don't have to take off the field. But I don't think that's where you are right now. So look at the situation and look at the deepest room on this team and put guys in the game where you feel like they can make some plays.